The power of proximity is one of the most underestimated forces in personal growth and achievement. The truth is, who you spend the majority of your time with has a direct impact on your mindset, habits, and ultimately your results in life. Every conversation you have, every environment you place yourself in, and every influence you allow into your world is shaping the person you are becoming. If you surround yourself with greatness, your standards rise, your vision expands, and you naturally begin to align your actions with higher possibilities. On the other hand, if you remain in environments filled with negativity, mediocrity, or people who constantly settle, it becomes harder to believe that you can achieve something extraordinary. Success is not only about what you do, it's also about who you allow yourself to become influenced by. When you think about the people you admire most, whether they are leaders, entrepreneurs, athletes, or creators, you'll notice a pattern. They did not get where they are by themselves. They intentionally placed themselves in environments where they could grow, learn, and be challenged. They understood that greatness rubs off. Just as spending time with people who lack drive can drain your motivation, spending time with ambitious, disciplined, and visionary people will fuel your own determination. It is almost impossible not to level up when you are surrounded by people who are constantly striving for excellence. Their mindset, their work ethic, and their perspective on challenges begin to influence the way you see the world. This is why proximity is often called a silent force of transformation. You don't always notice its immediate effects, but over time the difference becomes undeniable. If you spend years around people who talk about goals, innovation, and solutions, your thinking naturally becomes more solution-oriented and goal-focused. If you surround yourself with people who only complain, gossip, or make excuses, you'll find yourself unconsciously adopting those same patterns. The power of proximity works both ways, which is why you must become intentional about who earns access to your time, attention, and energy. Greatness is contagious. When you see someone operating at a high level, it forces you to question your own limits. Suddenly, the excuses you once made for yourself no longer hold weight. If they can do it, why can't you? If someone close to you breaks through barriers, it sparks something inside you to reach for more. This is why some of the most successful people credit their achievements not only to their own efforts, but also to the environment they cultivated. They chose to spend time with mentors, with people who were already living the life they desired, and with peers who pushed them to grow. The beauty of proximity is that it doesn't just inspire, it accelerates growth. When you are constantly around people who have already achieved what you want, they shortcut your learning curve by showing you what works and what doesn't. They provide insight, strategies, and lessons that could take you years to figure out on your own. More importantly, they expand your belief system. Sometimes the greatest limitation we face is not lack of ability, but lack of belief. Being around greatness makes you realize that the extraordinary is not as far away as you think. It is within reach if you are willing to learn, adapt, and persist. It's also worth noting that surrounding yourself with greatness doesn't always mean having direct access to successful people. In today's world, proximity can also mean the voices you allow into your life through books, podcasts, videos, and courses. You can mentor yourself through the words of people who have walked the path you aspire to walk. This kind of intentional exposure still counts as proximity because your mind cannot distinguish much between the influences you consume virtually and those you experience in person. The more you feed your mind with greatness, the more natural it becomes for you to think and act at a higher level. Ultimately, your future is determined by the environments you choose to stay in. If you want to elevate your life, you must elevate your circle. Choose to be around those who stretch your vision instead of shrinking it, those who challenge your excuses instead of validating them, and those who inspire you to take bold action instead of staying comfortable. Proximity to greatness does not guarantee success, but it creates the conditions where success becomes far more likely. When you put yourself in the right environment, you begin to grow into the person you were meant to be. Eliminating negative influences and guarding your energy is one of the most important steps you can take if you truly want to achieve greatness. Life is already full of challenges, distractions, and setbacks, so the last thing you need is to carry the weight of toxic energy from people or environments that don't support your growth. Every single day you are either being pulled forward by positive energy or dragged backward by negative influences. The reality is that your success is not just about what you add into your life, such as new habits or goals, but also about what you intentionally remove. The company you keep, the conversations you engage in, and the mindset you absorb all either fuel your journey or drain it completely. That is why learning to protect your energy and cut ties with negativity is not selfish. It is necessary. Negative influences can take many forms. Sometimes it is the people around you who constantly criticize, belittle, or discourage you from pursuing your dreams. Other times it can be environments that promote gossip, complacency, or destructive habits. And often, negativity shows up internally as self-doubt, fear, or limiting beliefs that were planted in you by others. The key is to become aware of these influences and make a decision to distance yourself from them. It doesn't always mean cutting people off entirely, but it does mean setting boundaries. You have to be bold enough to say, I cannot allow this energy to live in my space anymore, because every moment you spend surrounded by negativity is a moment you lose from becoming your best self. One of the most powerful ways to guard your energy is to understand its value. Your energy is like currency. You spend it every day, whether you realize it or not. If you spend it on worrying, complaining, or engaging with people who drain you, you end up bankrupt emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. But if you invest your energy into uplifting conversations, productive actions, and inspiring environments, it multiplies and gives you the strength to keep moving forward. People often say that time is our most valuable resource, but the truth is, energy is even more valuable. You can have all the time in the world, but if your energy is being poisoned by negativity, you won't have the drive or focus to use that time effectively. Protecting your energy also requires learning the power of no. Many people struggle because they allow everyone access to their mental and emotional space. They say yes to conversations they shouldn't be in, yes to relationships that don't serve them, and yes to obligations that drain their spirit. Guarding your energy means becoming selective. It means asking yourself, does this person, this place, or this activity add value to my life, or does it take away from it? If the answer is that it takes away, then you must learn to walk away without guilt. Saying no to negativity is actually saying yes to your future. It's also important to realize that negative influences can disguise themselves as love or support. Sometimes the people closest to you are the ones who discourage you the most, not because they hate you, but because they project their own fears and limitations onto you. They may tell you your dream is impossible or that you're aiming too high, not because it can't be done, but because they don't believe they could ever do it themselves. If you are not careful, you can adopt their doubts as your own and unconsciously limit what you believe is possible. This is why guarding your energy requires discernment. You must separate the voices that push you toward growth from the ones that hold you back, no matter how well-intentioned they may seem. The moment you free yourself from negative influences, you create space for positivity to thrive. Your mind becomes clearer, your heart feels lighter, and your actions become more purposeful. You begin to attract opportunities and people that align with your vision because you are no longer weighed down by toxic energy. Think of it like pruning a tree. Cutting away the dead branches allows new growth to flourish. By eliminating negativity, you give yourself the chance to grow stronger and reach new heights. Ultimately, protecting your energy is about self-respect. It is about recognizing that your dreams, your goals, and your peace of mind are worth defending. No one else will protect your energy for you. It is your responsibility to choose who and what has access to it. When you take control of this, you no longer become a victim of your environment. You become the architect of it. And once you learn to guard your energy with intention, you will notice that progress comes faster, your vision becomes clearer, and your life begins to move in the direction you've always wanted. Learning from mentors and models of greatness is one of the fastest and most effective ways to achieve success. No one achieves extraordinary results by walking the path completely alone. Every great leader, entrepreneur, athlete, or thinker has been influenced by those who came before them. The truth is, success leaves clues, and those clues are available to anyone who is willing to pay attention, study, and apply the lessons. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel or figure everything out through trial and error, you can accelerate your journey by learning from those who have already accomplished what you aspire to do. Mentors and role models give you a roadmap. They provide wisdom, strategies, and insights that can save you years of frustration and prevent you from making costly mistakes. The beauty of having mentors is that they offer perspective that you cannot always see on your own. When you are caught up in your own struggles or limited by your own thinking, a mentor has the ability to show you possibilities that you may have overlooked. They have already faced similar challenges, overcome obstacles, and discovered strategies that work. By observing their journey, you begin to see patterns of success that you can apply to your own life. Mentors shorten the distance between where you are now and where you want to be because they provide the bridge of experience and knowledge that you may not yet have. It's important to understand that mentorship does not always require direct access to someone. While having a personal relationship with a mentor is powerful, mentorship can also happen through books, speeches, podcasts, interviews, and courses. You can learn from the lives of people who may never know you exist, simply by studying their stories and applying their lessons. This is why biographies of great leaders and innovators are so valuable. They allow you to step into the minds of people who have achieved greatness and learn directly from their experiences. In today's digital world, access to mentorship is easier than ever. With a few clicks, you can hear the wisdom of some of the greatest minds in history and in the present day. Role models play an equally vital role because they serve as proof of what is possible. Sometimes we limit ourselves because we cannot imagine a life beyond what we see around us. But when you see someone who came from similar circumstances as you achieving incredible things, it breaks your mental barriers. It proves that the dream you hold in your heart is not too far-fetched. It is achievable. A role model doesn't just inspire you with words, they inspire you with their life. They embody the values, work ethic, and resilience that you can adopt into your own journey. Learning from mentors and models of greatness is also about imitation until transformation. In the beginning, you may not know exactly how to think, act, or make decisions like a successful person, but by modeling their behaviors, habits, and mindsets, you begin to train yourself into alignment with success. Over time, those borrowed habits become your own natural way of operating. You start to think bigger, act bolder, and carry yourself with more confidence. The more you expose yourself to people who operate at a high level, the more you rise to that standard yourself. Another powerful aspect of mentorship is accountability. A true mentor won't just tell you what you want to hear, they'll tell you what you need to hear. They'll challenge your excuses, question your limiting beliefs, and push you beyond your comfort zone. That kind of accountability is priceless because it forces you to grow faster than you would on your own. Mentors see the greatness in you that you sometimes fail to see, and they refuse to let you settle for less. That kind of influence can be life-changing because it keeps you on track when your motivation starts to waver. Of course, learning from mentors and role models also requires humility. You must be willing to admit that you don't know everything and that someone else has wisdom you need. Too often, people let their pride get in the way of learning, and as a result, they repeat mistakes that could have been avoided. But those who approach mentorship with an open mind and a teachable spirit end up progressing much faster. Being teachable is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength because it shows that you are serious about growth and success. Ultimately, learning from mentors and models of greatness is about collapsing time. Instead of taking decades to figure out what works, you can compress those decades into years or even months by studying the lessons of those who have already walked the path. Greatness does not have to be a lonely journey. It can be a guided one. When you align yourself with the wisdom of mentors and the inspiration of role models, you equip yourself with the tools, mindset, and belief needed to achieve more than you ever thought possible. Their stories light the path ahead, but it is your responsibility to walk it with determination and action. Building a circle that challenges and elevates you is one of the most transformative decisions you can make in life. The people you surround yourself with are not just companions on your journey. They are forces that either push you forward or hold you back. A supportive circle is not about comfort, it is about growth. If everyone in your circle only agrees with you, never questions your decisions, and allows you to remain the same, then you are not truly growing. Growth happens when you are challenged, when you are held accountable, and when you are pushed to reach beyond the limits you have set for yourself. This is why the right circle is not just a group of friends. It is a team of growth partners who inspire you, question you, and help shape you into the best version of yourself. The reality is that comfort zones kill potential. If your circle allows you to stay comfortable all the time, you risk falling into mediocrity. A strong circle won't let that happen. They will call you out when you're making excuses. They will remind you of your goals when you start to drift. They will expect you to show up as your best self, not just for them, but for yourself. This kind of accountability can sometimes feel uncomfortable, but that discomfort is where growth is born. When you are surrounded by people who are not afraid to be honest with you, you gain the opportunity to see blind spots that you could never identify on your own. They hold a mirror up to your life and force you to confront the areas where you need to improve. At the same time, a circle that elevates you also provides encouragement and support. Life will inevitably bring challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. In those times, having people around you who remind you of your strength and potential is priceless. They won't let you quit when things get hard. They'll lift you when you feel weak, and they'll remind you why you started in the first place. The best circles combine truth with love. They challenge you when you're slacking, but they also uplift you when you're struggling. That balance creates an environment where you can thrive without fear of being judged or abandoned. Another important aspect of building an elevating circle is diversity of strengths and perspectives. If everyone around you thinks like you, acts like you, and has the same experiences as you, your growth will be limited. But when your circle is filled with people who bring different skills, knowledge, and viewpoints, your vision expands. You gain new insights, discover opportunities you never noticed before, and learn to approach problems from multiple angles. A circle that challenges you doesn't just push you harder, it helps you think bigger. They expand your capacity to see possibilities beyond your own imagination. Being in such a circle also sharpens your standards. When you're surrounded by people who are constantly working on themselves, setting goals, and achieving, you naturally raise your own expectations. You can't stay stagnant when everyone around you is leveling up. Their drive becomes contagious, and their achievements remind you of what is possible. Instead of competing with them in an unhealthy way, you find yourself inspired to bring your best self to the table as well. This kind of environment breeds excellence because no one wants to be the weak link. Everyone rises together. It's worth mentioning that building this kind of circle doesn't always happen by accident. You have to be intentional about who you allow into your inner space. Sometimes it means letting go of relationships that no longer serve your growth. That can be painful, but it is necessary. Not everyone is meant to go with you to the next level of your life. The circle that challenges and elevates you will not always be the same circle you started with. As you grow, your circle may change, and that is a natural part of the journey. The key is to surround yourself with people who see your potential and demand that you live up to it. One of the most beautiful outcomes of having the right circle is that it creates a culture of mutual growth. You're not just receiving encouragement and accountability, you're also giving it. Everyone in the circle contributes to the elevation of one another. When one person wins, the entire circle wins because success is shared and celebrated. This collective energy creates momentum that propels everyone forward faster than they could ever go alone. Ultimately, building a circle that challenges and elevates you is about designing an environment that makes success inevitable. You cannot always control the obstacles life throws at you, but you can control who you face those obstacles with. The right circle will not let you settle for less, and they will not let you forget who you are capable of becoming. They will challenge your excuses, sharpen your vision, and elevate your standards. And when you consistently surround yourself with that kind of energy, greatness becomes the natural outcome of your life. Adopting the habits and mindsets of high achievers is one of the surest ways to move your life from ordinary to extraordinary. Success is not an accident. It is the result of consistent behaviors, disciplined routines, and powerful ways of thinking that shape outcomes over time. When you study people who achieve at the highest levels, you'll notice that their greatness is not just about talent, luck, or opportunity. It is about what they repeatedly do and how they consistently think. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is often bridged by the daily habits you choose to practice and the mindset you decide to live by. If you want to achieve more, you must intentionally adopt the patterns of thought and action that set high achievers apart. One of the most important habits high achievers share is discipline. They understand that success is rarely about motivation alone because motivation comes and goes. What sustains them is discipline, the ability to do what needs to be done whether they feel like it or not. They have morning routines that prepare their minds and bodies for the day. They plan their time with intention, and they remain committed to their goals even when distractions or difficulties arise. This kind of consistency compounds over time. Small, disciplined actions may not look impressive in the moment, but over months and years, they create extraordinary results. Another defining trait of high achievers is their focus on growth. They are lifelong learners, always seeking to expand their knowledge, skills, and perspectives. They read books, take courses, attend seminars, and seek out mentors who can help them improve. Instead of assuming they already know everything, they approach life with curiosity and humility. This mindset of continuous learning keeps them ahead because they are always adapting, evolving, and upgrading themselves. By adopting this same hunger for growth, you position yourself to seize opportunities others may not even notice. High achievers also practice the habit of setting clear goals and aligning their actions with those goals. They don't just dream vaguely about success. They define what it looks like in specific terms, create a plan, and measure their progress along the way. They break big goals into smaller, actionable steps, and they hold themselves accountable for completing those steps. This clarity of direction allows them to move with purpose, while others drift without aim. When you adopt the habit of intentional goal setting, you transform your energy from being scattered into being laser, focused on the outcomes that matter most. Equally important is the mindset of resilience. High achievers don't see failure as final, they see it as feedback. Instead of giving up when things go wrong, they analyze what happened, learn from it, and try again with a smarter approach. This resilience allows them to keep moving forward when others stop. They understand that setbacks are part of the journey, not the end of it. By adopting this mindset, you train yourself to persevere, even in the face of challenges, and you discover that the very obstacles meant to break you can actually shape you into someone stronger and more capable. Another powerful habit of high achievers is the ability to manage their environment and energy. They know that success is not just about hard work, it's about smart work. They prioritize rest, health, and self-care because they understand that they cannot perform at their best if they are physically, mentally, or emotionally drained. They also structure their environments to reduce distractions and increase focus. By modeling these habits, you learn to protect your energy, optimize your performance, and make steady progress without burning out. The mindset of abundance is another quality that sets high achievers apart. They believe that opportunities are limitless and they don't operate from fear or scarcity. Instead of being threatened by others' success, they are inspired by it, knowing that if it's possible for one person, it's possible for them too. They collaborate, share knowledge, and build relationships because they see success as something to be multiplied, not hoarded. When you adopt an abundance mindset, you release fear and insecurity, and you begin to see opportunities everywhere. Ultimately, adopting the habits and mindsets of high achievers is not about copying them blindly. It's about learning what works and applying it in a way that fits your own journey. The habits of discipline, learning, goal setting, resilience, energy management, and abundance are not exclusive to a select few. They are available to anyone willing to practice them consistently. The key is to replace unproductive patterns with empowering ones and to train your mind to think at a higher level. Over time, these habits and mindsets rewire your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who merely hopes for success and start living as someone who creates it daily. Creating an ecosystem that pushes you toward your dreams is about designing your life in a way where success becomes not only possible, but inevitable. An ecosystem is bigger than just the people around you. It is the combination of your environment, habits, routines, resources, and influences that shape your mindset and actions every day. If your surroundings don't support your goals, you'll constantly find yourself swimming against the current, fighting distractions and battling resistance. But when you intentionally create an ecosystem that aligns with your vision, everything around you begins to work in your favor. It becomes easier to stay disciplined, to stay motivated, and to keep moving forward because your environment is reinforcing the very behaviors that lead to your success. Think about how nature operates. A plant does not thrive just because it wants to. It thrives when it is in the right soil, with enough sunlight, water, and nutrients to sustain growth. In the same way, your dreams will not flourish simply because you desire them. They grow when you place yourself in an ecosystem that nourishes them. That ecosystem might include supportive people, inspiring content, healthy habits, and a workspace designed for focus and creativity. It also includes the systems you put in place to track your progress and hold yourself accountable. Success is not just about willpower, it is about structure. When your environment and systems are aligned with your vision, your dreams become a natural outcome of how you live. One of the first steps in building this ecosystem is to remove friction. Friction is anything that makes it harder for you to take the actions that move you forward. For example, if your goal is to exercise daily, but your workout clothes are buried at the back of a closet, the extra effort creates friction that discourages you from staying consistent. But if you lay out your clothes the night before or set up your space in advance, you reduce friction and increase the likelihood of following through. The same principle applies to your workspace, your schedule, and even your digital environment. Make it easy to do the right things and harder to do the wrong things. That's how you begin to engineer your surroundings for success. Another element of a powerful ecosystem is constant exposure to inspiration and learning. Just as junk food affects your body, junk input affects your mind. If you spend your time consuming negative news, toxic conversations, or meaningless distractions, your dreams will wither. But if you fill your environment with motivational books, podcasts, videos, and conversations with ambitious people, your mind stays energized and focused on growth. This kind of input shifts your perspective, strengthens your belief in your goals, and reminds you daily of what you're working toward. The more you immerse yourself in positivity and possibility, the more natural it becomes to act in alignment with your dreams. Accountability is another critical part of your ecosystem. It is easy to break promises you make to yourself in private. But when you share your goals with others or join groups that track progress together, you add an extra layer of responsibility. Accountability partners, masterminds, or supportive communities can help keep you on track when your motivation dips. They remind you of your commitments and push you to stay consistent. Accountability systems transform your goals from private wishes into public commitments, which significantly increases your chances of success. Your ecosystem also includes the habits and rituals you build into your daily life. High achievers don't leave their success up to chance. They create routines that reinforce their vision. Whether it's starting the day with exercise and gratitude, dedicating specific hours to focused work, or ending the day with reflection and planning, these rituals create structure and momentum. They reduce decision fatigue because you no longer have to wonder what to do. You simply follow the systems you've already put in place. Over time, these small daily rituals accumulate into massive results, all because your ecosystem is designed to keep you aligned with your goals. It's also vital to remember that creating an ecosystem for your dreams is not about perfection. It's about alignment. You don't have to eliminate every challenge or obstacle, but you can shape your surroundings in ways that make progress more natural and setbacks less damaging. Even small changes like organizing your workspace, limiting time with negative people, or setting reminders for your goals can make a big difference over time. Every adjustment you make is another step toward an environment that fuels your growth instead of stifling it. Ultimately, your ecosystem determines your outcomes more than your intentions do. You can have the strongest desire to succeed, but if your surroundings constantly pull you away from your goals, you'll struggle to make lasting progress. On the other hand, if your ecosystem is designed to nurture your vision, success becomes almost automatic. It no longer requires extreme effort every single day because your environment is working with you instead of against you. Your dreams are no longer something distant or abstract. They are embedded into the very fabric of how you live. By intentionally creating an ecosystem that pushes you forward, you set yourself up to grow consistently, stay resilient, and eventually turn your biggest visions into reality.